Hey, Nips.
My little man showing off.
I don't know if you can see that, our baby's leg's about to shed. A little heads up about the video. This isn't a video about, which one's better. Whether a cat or a bearded dragon is better, whether it's, team fur or team scales. It's more a video about, a lot of times you find that people buy pets based on whether they think they're cool or this or that with little knowledge about them. I was really just kind of having fun with it. I guess this is more of an awareness type of video. We have a bearded dragon and we have a cat. So there are two options that within one's search for a pet, here are considerations to keep in mind. Because one of these might be one of the pets that you consider. But yeah, there'd be no way that I'd be able to tell you which one I'd like having more. You hear mommy downstairs? What are you doing? Now let's talk about allergies. If you have allergies, then I'm gonna be honest, a reptile is probably, well, let's say if your allergies are pretty bad, because I have allergies too. When it comes to cheddar, cheddar sets off those allergies. Actually, my roaches set off my allergies sometimes too, I believe. As for Nipsey, there's no reason for me to have allergies. As the passing of owning reptiles increases, more allergies are being reported from owning reptiles, but still, you gotta take into consideration, at least in comparison to other pets, well, let's stick to what we're talking about here. In comparison to cats, it's definitely nowhere near, So yeah, nothing about these little scales right here. Nothing about them that you're going to be allergic to, more than likely. I mean, I don't want to say that as a fact, because I'm sure somebody be like, yeah, but my friend, you know what I mean? But in most instances, there's no reason why you're going to have allergies to these scales. Right, baby? Smile, because you got this one, you see? Can't quite say the same thing about you, now can we? Huh, Cheddar? Want to give him an example? Prime example right here.
What is that smell, Nipsey? Is that you? Nah, I'm just kidding.
Now, when it comes to the smell, I'll be honest with you, neither one should stink. We've never had problems with Nipsey smelling. We've never had problems with Cheddar smelling. But your poop is another story now, isn't it? Because their little poops smell real big. And that's the one thing, I guess, on this, when it comes to their poop, look, poop's poop. It's gonna stink, guys. And cats is no exception. They stink. But you, my friend, I think you're on the losing end of this battle, because your poop, at least in comparison to your little itty bitty size, should not be smelling like that. Both their businesses stink, but your biz, my friend, takes the cake. But I still love you. And neither one should be stinking. Proper care, and they both should be scent-free. Now, I have seen videos where people have talked about the bearded dragon stink, and I'll be honest, if your bearded dragon stinks and you do care for them properly, you might want to go to the vet. I'm not real sure. If it's something other than their poop that you're talking about stinking, I'd probably take them to the vet. Now let's talk about play. You want a playful animal? Because you see this adorable little face? It's not very playful. Yeah, bearded dragons don't play, really. I guess there's exceptions, and don't get me wrong, if you don't have a bearded dragon and you've been searching videos, you might have come across somewhere, some are fetching after a ball, or, they come when their names are called and stuff like that. But I'm gonna be quite honest with you, that is not typical. Now, I'm not saying that you can't make it happen. You know, if you put a lot of focus and attention on that particular training, I guess, you know, I'm sure you could crank it out. On the norm, that's not what you're going to have from a bearded dragon. You know, they will hang out with you, but they'll also do what they want to do. And, you know, they'll run around, you take them out, they can get their exercise, they can play, you know, have a change up and all. But when it comes to playing, they aren't much of players, you know. Reptiles, they just kind of chill, do their own thing. And most of the time, they probably don't even care to really have all that much interaction, you know. You can tell that Nipsey likes to be out and held sometimes. That's not all the time. I mean, he is a reptile, and they're solitary animals. Now, our little man here is a different story. He loves to play. You know, you want an animal that plays. Now, I'm not gonna act like, you know, all cats are the same either. Some cats don't like to be bothered. Some cats are real energetic and some aren't. You know, some, like Cheddar, I mean, he stays under me. Under me, do you hear me? And I'll tell you, Cheddar's even kind of like a dog. Reminds me of a dog a little bit in some of the time, you know, in some of the ways that we play. Downstairs in the living room, you know, we'll run around and he'll go and hide behind stuff as I'm running around. He'll jump out and pounce at me, you know, and then I'll kind of do the same thing to him. It's just our thing.
Yes, I play with him like he's my kid.
Right, baby? And all animals are different, you know, and there's all different types of pet parents. For instance, you know, I want to extend my care of pets into the invertebrate world a little more, you know, beyond dubia roaches. And, you know, when it comes to invertebrates, you know, they're basically little to no handling anyway. Of course you're going to handle them sometimes, but, you know, I mean, they're more of a visual and just care for, and, you know, your satisfaction comes with knowing that they are thriving. Of course, it's satisfying to know that, you know, all your animals are thriving, but there's bearded dragons, you know, and you can have them out and they can hang out with you, you know. There's that level of bonding, and you know that at least at times it seems like they want to bond. Then you've got these guys, which can be just like Cheddar. Let's take Cheddar for instance, and be all up in your biz all the time. Like I said, he's always up under me. Let me ask you guys something.
Do you like your food dead or alive?
Nah, but what I'm talking about is, you know, when you're feeding your pets, okay, take our man Cheddar here for instance. When he eats, you just open a can or you open a bag and you put it in his dish. Now it can be that simple for these guys, but if you don't like to handle insects and live food and like to see them eat live stuff, then this might not be the pet for you, as adorable as this little face is, regardless of the little bit of baby food on his lip. This little guy here, he eats live food. And to live a healthy life, he needs to eat live food. Now, of course, you know, there's bearded dragon owners that feed, you know, beyond vegetables and fruits, feed them stuff like dried crickets, dried roaches, that type of stuff, dried worms. And that stuff's all right and all, but, you know, occasionally, as for a staple, you know, they need live insects. Say if you're somebody who feeds them superworms and you cut their heads off, you know, of course they're going to be, you know, doing their thing, dead for the most part. That's not what I'm talking about, that's fresh. But what we're talking about is live food. Go ahead and cut their heads off if that makes you feel better. But it's definitely a change of pace for those that are used to typically thought of house pets. You're not just opening a can and plopping some wet food on a dish. And for us, you know, we actually, one of our pets is a colony of what used to be Nipsey's food. It still is sometimes, but he really doesn't eat on them all that much anymore. So yeah, we made another decision to care for some insects so that he'd have food readily on hand. You know, take that into consideration. Even if you don't have a colony, you're gonna need feeders, whether it be crickets, whether it be roaches. Crickets seem to be for people an easier one to psychologically grasp onto, but I'll be honest, you'll soon find that they stink, they're loud, they're escape artists, all this, and roaches will be ideal and will be worth you shifting your perspective on that. Now, are you a fan of sleep? Yeah, you heard that, Cheddar?
Sleep.
This little man does not like to let you sleep. He'll be on you. Now, of course, I guess you could shut your bedroom door and you wouldn't have to worry about that. We don't. I'm sure my wife would if it was up to her, but you know, my little man's always got to have access to us. Now at night it's been settling down. Sort of, we have him now on a more solid eating schedule, and it's, you know, he really doesn't bother us at night. When it comes to the morning, you know, it's been all night, he hasn't eaten, you know, he's ready. And he knows that when I get up, that shortly after, you know, he gets his wet food. Now it's cute at first because he has this little thing, it's a suffocating kind of cuteness, but I've gotten used to it, and my wife can't stand it, but he just kind of comes over and lays up over my neck and just sleeps there. That's our little thing in the morning. He'll do that for a while. No matter whether I toss and turn, he'll get up and then he'll lay back down over my neck. But then, you know, after a while, after he gets a little antsy and he's like, all right, it's time to get up, he will move his way down to my feet and start attacking them and say, hey, come on, let's get up. Now these little guys, they won't bother you. The most you're gonna get from them is maybe some scratching at night when they're getting ready to go to bed. That's what he does. He'll start scratching this linoleum here. And in the morning, actually we do hear some scratching in the morning sometimes. It's probably just him groggy and turning around trying to get comfy. And I'll be honest, if you're an early riser, more than likely you'll be waking up before them anyway. You know, when you turn their light on, they will be waking up. Now it's not that there isn't times that we've woken up and he's not been up. There's even been a couple times he's been kind of running around his cage. Now I didn't get Nipsey out this video because Cheddar's right there, chilling on my clothes. I always have my pajamas laying on the end of this couch right here because he loves to sit on them. A lot of my clothes are now look like they're made of cat fur. So if you're looking around for different pets which might, you know, best fit your situation, you know, your present situation, there's 5 things to keep in mind. But yeah, not to make this video any longer, there was your 5 considerations. To all our subscribers, we appreciate you. To all our viewers, we appreciate you too. If you haven't yet, please like, share, and subscribe. We will see you again soon.